Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That quote is often attributed to physicist Albert Einstein. I don't know whether old Albert actually said that or not, but it's certainly true. It's especially true in the case we're going to discuss today. And you know what? Every time I turn my back on the Summerwells case for a few days to concentrate on other cases, it's Letitia Stauch and her very bored attorneys that's taking up a lot of my time at the moment. But every time I turn my back, there's something else to discuss. So, let's do it. Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Thursday morning, and I'm going to check the date. Yes, it's definitely the 20th, because I regularly get the date wrong when I put dates on videos, and you guys always notice. But yeah, I've not looked at anything regarding the Summerwells case for maybe the best part of a week, or even more. And there's a friend that Candus, Summerwell's mother, has had for quite a while now, who's now started her own channel, and she's come out to speak. Her name is Cassie. Now, she's the one who helped Candus a lot while Don was in jail. Candus was staying at Cassie's house for quite a while, I believe. But Cassie is now coming out and spilling the tea, telling her truth about what happened with Candus. She's upset over it. But Cassie is not the first friend that we've seen in the Summerwells case, which has now been going on for 22 months. Summer has been gone 22 months. And many friends that Candus has had in that time that she met on the internet since Summer disappeared. But there's also people who knew her before. You know, the ones that we find it difficult to believe. But every one of these friends has got a story to tell about Candus. But it all circles back to the same thing. Candus is lying. Each of these friends, in turn, who Candus has taken into her confidence, comes out and says the same thing. The ones that speak, obviously, there might be those behind the scenes who won't speak, who won't break Candus's confidence. But those that do, well, maybe they have good reason to. I don't know. But Cassie is saying that Candus is lying. She's not sober. She's continuing her addicted ways. She's still drinking. She's probably doing the same old substances that she's done before. Don is still going on his benders, you know, the cocaine-fueled benders to Knoxville or wherever it is he goes for a few days at a time. And then Don comes back, all sorry, and comes online. They're not even meant to be online, are they? Isn't the judge told them to stay off YouTube if they want their boys back? They're never going to get the boys back because they haven't done what the judges demanded of them. More importantly than not going on YouTube is staying sober. And according to Cassie, Candus most definitely isn't. So all this nonsense that Don has been saying to WJHL and to anybody online who'll listen, you know, Child Protective Services are doing horrible things, you know, they've kidnapped the boys. It's not true, is it? Those 3 boys, Summer's brothers, are in a much better place in foster care than they could ever be with Don and Candus because nothing's changed. And it feels to me, who's been covering this case for the last 22 months, that we're constantly doing the same thing and expecting different results. So even if Summer is found today, alive and well somewhere. I know it's a long shot, but we've got to carry on that little bit of hope, don't we? Even if Summer is found alive and well today, and she's being well cared for, she's never going to go back to her parents, because if Summer's 3 older brothers are not allowed to go back, then Summer isn't. So all the crocodile tears that Don and Candus have about Summer, well, you're not doing anything for your daughter at all, are you? Because you can't do the things that would keep your children safe if they ever return to you, and that includes Summer. Now look, on this channel I've gone through every possible theory as to what might have happened to then 5-year-old Summer Wells, who disappeared from her home in the 100 block of Ben Hill Road on the 15th of June 2021. I've gone through every possible theory except the really wild ones, which I've just left alone. And for some of that time, I absolutely thought that Don and Candus were involved. Don was my first chief suspect, then it was Candus. And a few months ago, I did the Summer Wells Suspect series. So it's a bunch of videos about who my top 5 suspects in the case were and why. And my number 1 was Candus. Not that I think she murdered Summer. I've never thought that she murdered Summer. I've also never thought, I've entertained it, but I've never seriously thought that Summer had an accident on that afternoon of the 15th of June 2021 and Candus covered it up. I mean, anything's possible. I just don't feel in my heart that that's what happened. And I don't think there's any evidence that points to that happening. But I can't defend the undefendable. I can't defend Summer's parents, their grieving parents, and they've only descended into alcoholism and substance abuse because of the trauma they've gone through. No, they were addicts before. And the things we've witnessed between Don and Candus online, when they're both under the influence, is exactly how their children would have lived. Now, maybe not every single day was like that. Abusive, shouting, slanging matches, violence. Not every day was like that. There would have been good days. Maybe when Don was at work and Candus was in a good mood and she took them out, she did take them places. They weren't the very worst cared for kids in the entire world. I mean, you think of some of these cases that we cover in true crime, and children have just gone through the most horrendous abuse. So the life for the Wells children could have been worse, but it could have been a whole lot better. And one of the things that Cassie has talked about and cried about on her channel is the money that people have given them, either in goods, Amazon wish lists, in doing things for them like free labour, free resources for their house clean-up, or money to just assist them in living. What expenses do they have? The house Don inherited from his mother, so they don't have mortgage payments or loan payments on the house. As far as I know, they still have that Subaru. As far as I know, they do anyway, and that was expensive, wasn't that? Something like $600 a month that Don talked about at one point. They've got some other bills, they've got property taxes, they've got electricity, food, obviously. But isn't Don working? No. Candus could work. But no, instead, she sits at home, drinking and smoking and whatever else, instead of working. Now, there's a lot of employers that absolutely wouldn't employ Candus, but there's jobs that she could do, but she chooses not to. So people who donate to them, what are you actually donating to? Think about it. Now, look, I can't come along and tell you how to spend your money, but just think about it. What are you donating to? You're not donating to a campaign to find Summer. You're not donating to them going out on searches or for flyers or billboards or anything like that, are you? You're donating to the basics of Don and Candus's life. But why? Where are their expenses? Well, I can tell you where their expenses are. It's in addiction. isn't it? It's to fund Don's cocaine-fueled binges. It's to fund Candus's alcohol and weed. It's to fund cigarettes. Cigarettes are massively expensive in the UK. Is it something like £10 a pack now? I don't know, I don't smoke cigarettes, but they're massively expensive because of the taxes that the government slaps on them. I don't know what price cigarettes are in Tennessee, but that's where the money's going. And look, if you smoke a pack a day in the UK, that's a tenner a day, 70 quid a week, 280 quid a month, 28-day a month. If you're absolutely on the bones of your ass on the breadline, you can't do it, can you? What is going on here? Right? What is going on here? How many more friends are going to come out and say, I tried to help them, and look what happened. I got upset. I got bad-mouthed. Look at what they're doing. Cassie's probably not the last that we'll ever see. There's been many before her. I know when I talk about the Summer Wells case on this channel, people do come into my comments section and say, look, I don't listen to Summer Wells videos anymore because it's all about her parents. It's not about Summer. And I agree with you. I agree with you. It's one of the reasons why I stopped covering the case on a very regular basis. I was doing daily videos on Summer at one point. But there isn't anything to talk about. There's nothing new in her case other than the antics that her parents get up to. So we always have to take it back to Summer, don't we? Summer's the important one. Even if Summer isn't alive, even if Summer is never going to come home in the way that we all want her to, she still deserves a final resting place. She still deserves justice and answers for what happened to her. I think we can all agree that, can't we? And every time the friends of the Wells come up, always takes me back to November 2021. Do you remember? It was shortly after the Dr. Phil, when they went on Dr. Phil, that aired, that Brian Entin from News Nation, who goes everywhere fast, he went to Rogersville and he tried to get an interview with Don and Candus. And Don spoke to him down on the bottom property, as Don calls it, near the creek and that shed. Ansley Daniel from WJHL interviewed Brian. Brian interviewed Sheriff Ronnie Lawson. But one thing that will stick in my mind forever is when Don said, Candus is a good mother. Definition of good is a bit fluid, but okay. Candus is a good mother, but she has the wrong friends. Who are these wrong friends? And yes, I've said that again and again on this channel. We've discussed who those wrong friends might be. But I always go back to it. I go back to what the behaviour panel said about Candus. That she's holding something back. Even if she didn't directly murder Summer, or it wasn't an accident and a cover-up, I think we can all feel it. That there's more to that day than what we know. There's at least 3 hours in that day that we don't know anything about. Those crucial hours between them arriving home, and we've put that at about maybe 20 past 3:30 at the very latest, and then 6:26 when the 911 call was made. 3 hours. And in that time, Summer disappeared, never to be seen again. And I think we can all feel that there's something wrong with that timeline. We can all feel it. Even if you think that Don and Candus are completely innocent. And I do think Don is innocent. I do. I think Don was at work. I mean, look, I can't prove it. We're going off hunches and feelings and just basic lack of evidence, aren't we, really? But I think Candus knows something. Somebody maybe was there that day. Candus was doing something that day that she doesn't want anyone to know about. I don't think she's completely blanked out of her mind, as the behaviour panel intimated. I think she knows exactly what she was doing. And it's that thing, whatever that thing was, that is the key to cracking this case. I feel that if Candus will just say who these wrong friends are, this case could be solved. We could find out what happened to Summer Wells. Surely she deserves that. She absolutely deserves that. But the people who can't seem to see it are her parents. And for that reason, I can't defend the undefendable. I just can't. Alright guys, let me know what you think in the comments below. I've been Michelle. Hope you well. I'll see you in the next video. It's goodbye from Miss Tillington and Miss Cassie Springer. Bye guys.